For decades, Jeremy Clarkson has been one of the most recognizable faces in British television. Famous for his unapologetic persona, Clarkson rose to prominence as the brash, opinionated host of Top Gear, a show that became synonymous with fast cars, fiery opinions, and controversial statements. Loved and hated in equal measure, Clarkson built his brand on high-octane entertainment, effortlessly blending humor with sharp and witty commentary. But then, in a twist that nobody saw coming, Clarkson swapped turbocharged engines for tractors, and his world shifted dramatically with the launch of Clarkson's Farm, a show that not only entertained millions but also set a spotlight on the harsh realities of farming. And believe it or not, Clarkson, of all people, is now being hailed as a potential savior for farmers worldwide. This is the story about how Clarkson is saving farming. You wouldn't expect Jeremy Clarkson, a man whose previous knowledge of agriculture could be summed up in the fact that he just knows that beef comes from cows, to buy a 1,000-acre farm in the English countryside and decide to manage it himself. Yet, that's exactly what he did. In 2019, Clarkson embarked on a completely new venture, farming, and documented every misstep, frustration, and hard-earned success in Clarkson's Farm. What began as another entertaining experiment by a man who's done it all quickly evolved into something far more significant. The premise of Clarkson's Farm is deceptively simple. Clarkson, with no real farming experience, tries to run his farm in Chipping Norton, Oxfordshire. At first glance, the show offers exactly what you'd expect from the Top Gear star. A blend of dry British humour, profanity-ridden rants, and complete chaos as Clarkson stumbles his way through agricultural life. But what sets the show apart from being just another reality TV gimmick is how genuinely it delves into the struggles farmers face every day. And here's the twist. Clarkson's raw, candid depiction of farming has resonated with people far beyond the fields of England. From battling relentless rain that destroys crops to dealing with unpredictable livestock and navigating the Byzantine bureaucracy of agricultural regulations, Clarkson's Farm doesn't sugarcoat the harsh realities of the farming industry. Viewers watch Clarkson grapple with issues farmers face daily. And for the first time, many urban people began to appreciate just how challenging, complex, and mentally exhausting this line of work really is. Take for example, Clarkson's battle with Brexit-related agricultural policy changes. The show highlights how farmers are often victims of decisions made far above their heads by politicians with no real understanding of what it takes to manage the land. Clarkson's exasperation is palpable, as he struggles with subsidies, fluctuating crop prices, and the endless paperwork required just to make ends meet. This isn't just entertainment, it's a real-time view into the pressures that are driving small farmers to the brink of bankruptcy. One of the most gripping moments in the show is Clarkson's attempt at sheep farming. You'd think it would be simple. Put the sheep in a field, feed them, and they'll grow. But in reality, sheep farming is an exhausting task involving constant attention, endless maintenance, and an uncanny ability for sheep to find new and inventive ways to die. Clarkson's frequent mishaps, losing sheep, mismanaging equipment, and nearly losing his mind, offer up some of the show's funniest moments but also convey an undeniable truth. Farming isn't just a job, it's a full-blown lifestyle that demands everything from you. But through all the chaos, Clarkson's unexpected triumphs are what make the show so compelling. When his crops finally start growing, when he opens up the farm shop, or when his bee colony produces honey, you can feel the pure joy Clarkson has. And it's not just Clarkson's success that's highlighted, the show emphasizes the teamwork, community, and local knowledge that farming requires. Clarkson's relationship with Kaleb Cooper, his young farm manager, is a key highlight. Kaleb, who is in his early 20s but knows more about farming than Clarkson could ever dream of, often berates him for his ignorance but ultimately teaches him, and the audience alike, the real mechanics behind keeping a farm alive. Kaleb grew up in the rural countryside of Chipping Norton and has been farming his whole life, making him the true expert on Diddley Squat Farm, despite Clarkson being its owner. Kaleb's role in the show goes far beyond just managing the farm. He often serves as a reality check for Clarkson, bluntly pointing out his mistakes and steering him in the right direction with a blend of exasperation and dry humor that quickly endeared him to viewers. It's Kaleb's sharp wit and authenticity that make him such a standout character, balancing Clarkson's larger-than-life persona with grounded practicality. In fact, one of the most compelling aspects of Kaleb's presence in the show is the dynamic between him and Clarkson. The way Kaleb often speaks to Clarkson, whether he's shouting at him for driving a tractor through a hedge or sarcastically dismissing one of Clarkson's harebrained ideas, creates a hilarious yet endearing dynamic between the two. At times, Kaleb is almost like a mentor to Clarkson, despite their vast differences in age and experience. He's not afraid to call out Clarkson's ignorance, and though their exchanges can be comical, there's an underlying respect that builds throughout the show. Kaleb may be young, but his passion for farming and his unshakable work ethic have turned him into a role model for the next generation of farmers. Beyond his relationship with Clarkson, Kaleb represents the struggles that young farmers face in today's world. He's deeply connected to the land and clearly loves what he does, but he also speaks openly about the challenges of farming as a career. Like many young people in agriculture, Kaleb is part of a shrinking population as fewer young people choose to pursue farming, often because of the financial instability and physical toll it demands. By sharing his life on Clarkson's farm, Kaleb has given viewers a glimpse into the dedication required to keep a farm running and the sacrifices it entails. His popularity has not only brought much needed attention to the reality of young farmers, but has also inspired a newfound appreciation for their critical role in feeding the world. Through Kaleb Cooper, Clarkson's Farm reminds us that the future of farming lies in the hands of passionate, hard-working individuals like him. People who, despite the hardships, are determined to keep the industry alive. But what makes Clarkson's Farm revolutionary is how it's starting to reshape public perception of farming. For years, farmers have been overlooked, an afterthought in a world increasingly dominated by urbanization and technology. Now, suddenly, they have a champion in one of the most unlikely figures imaginable. Clarkson, with his massive platform, has brought farming into the mainstream consciousness. Millions of viewers, many of whom have never set foot on a farm, are now seeing just how vital this work is to the world, and just how little farmers are appreciated for it. So how exactly is Clarkson's Farm saving farmers? Well, first and foremost, it's putting a spotlight on the everyday struggles that are often ignored. By bringing these issues to the forefront in a way that's both entertaining and educational, Clarkson is helping to foster a broader understanding of the importance of agriculture. The show's success has created a ripple effect, encouraging more discussions about the challenges farmers face, not just in the UK, but globally. Clarkson's visibility has also led to tangible benefits for farmers. Since the show has aired, there's been a renewed interest in supporting local agriculture, with many viewers making a concerted effort to buy from local farms and support sustainable practices. Moreover, Clarkson's unapologetic attitude toward political inefficiency has sparked discussions about reforming outdated farming policies. If even half of Clarkson's viewers take action, the impact could be massive. Finally, the show is giving farmers something that they desperately need, which is hope. Clarkson's story of bumbling incompetence turning into hard-earned success is a lesson that even when everything seems to be falling apart, perseverance can lead to glory. It's a message farmers need now more than ever, especially in the face of climate change, rising costs, and the constant threat of industrial farming corporations swallowing them whole. In the end, Clarkson's Farm isn't just another celebrity vanity project, it's a lifeline for an industry that has been teetering on the edge for far too long. Clarkson, in his own bombastic way, is giving farmers a voice, showing the world that the work they do is not just crucial, but heroic. It may have started as a quirky show about a man completely out of his depth, but Clarkson's Farm has become a beacon of hope for farmers worldwide. And for that, Jeremy Clarkson has unwittingly transformed himself from the king of petrol heads to the champion of the countryside.